Hello gorgeous people, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I'm boiling. There's going to be a bit of fan action again today, I think. It's quite humid today. Obviously I'm at home, that's because I've just actually been running around outside dashing between showers, so it's made me even warmer. But yeah, it's yet another grey, wet day. Oh my goodness, we've had so many. So I'm going to have to fan a bit. We've had so many this summer, haven't we? What summer? It's supposed to be getting warm and sunny at the end of this week. I need to stop this fanning, don't I? It's noisy and distracting and annoying. Yeah, it's... Anyway. So I'm at home doing myriad jobs, lots of little sort of half hour, maybe an hour jobs. There's about 20 jobs on the list. I might be at it till midnight. But I'm getting on, making the most of, well, if I'm stuck indoors, I might as well get on with things. The garden will have to wait for another day. I'm not sure where in the sequence of things you're going to see this, but you will have seen when I was doing the houseplants. My back was really rotten, but yeah, it's much easier now. Sort of 2 weeks later, I can just feel it. So I'm still being really mindful with my movement, doing my stretches, all of that kind of stuff, but it's not painful now, thank goodness, because it was, oh my goodness, it was so jarring and painful. I'm boiling. It's because once again I shut all the windows against the noise of the street, so I mean it's not that hot. I'm just thinking of the thermostat. It says 29 degrees in the flat, which is double it. It's about 60. It's about 90. It's about 88 degrees in the flat because all the windows are shut. Anyway, let's have a bit of a catch up. So, oh my goodness, right. I've got a couple of books to talk about. I've got a bit of post I want to talk about, and one bit of, I can't get emotional at the beginning of the video, one bit of really important post. I'm going to talk a little bit about a letter from my sister that's just arrived. I knew it was coming. I'll talk about that later in the video. I knew it was coming. So, just to sort of say right from the outset, I am highly likely to get emotional during this video. I'm going to put that stuff at the end of the video because I don't want, for anyone who's watching who's feeling low or vulnerable, I don't want them to get upset. So we'll do sister stuff at the end because, yeah, undoubtedly I'm going to get a lot emotion. Because I am at the moment. I am all the time. I'm just fried, emotionally fried. I had a weird comment. I think they were trying to have a bit of a dig at me. It was one of the garden videos, and this person said, and I deleted it because I think it was trying to be nasty, and they were like, oh, well, you seem to have got over your sister pretty quickly. Look, you're all smiles in the garden again. I'm not sure what to believe. I was like, oh, whatever, just go away. Of course, when I'm making videos, I want to be smiling and I want to be sharing joy. But just because in a video for half an hour I'm smiling doesn't mean that the rest of the day I'm not on the floor sobbing. Because I am. But I'm also getting on with things because that's life, isn't it? I have a life and I'm going to make the most of it. So yeah, we'll come to that at the end of the video because not only my sister's letter, but I received a really beautiful parcel on the same day, and it also coincided anyway, and it had a book in it, and I want to talk about it, and I'll explain all that when we get to it. So in the meantime, okay, let's start with some obvious stuff. You can't see it because the camera never points at it, but back at the end of March, I emptied my entire kitchen into the living room. and to do the kitchen up. Now, I had, some people may not have been watching my videos that long, but I had 2 standalone larder freezers which were extra to my built-in freezer that I bought, one of them 2 years ago, one of them 3 years ago, I think. Just because I was producing so much food in the garden and making so much soup and curries and da-da-da. But I knew that when I came to sell the flat, I wouldn't want them in there because they crowd the kitchen, they make it look smaller than it is. So, a bit uncomfy today. And I should just also say thank you to my lovely friend Joanne, who has put a new top on me. I think it's gorgeous. Kitchen, yes. So, and if you remember, back in February, my washing machine broke, so I had to replace it. So I had that guy coming in at the same time. I was like, oh. And I'd emptied my 3rd freezer, which is quite normal for me. Around about February, beginning of March, my 3rd freezer is empty. And then by about into sort of towards the end of June, beginning of July, my 2nd freezer gets empty. And then through July, I'm starting to empty my primary built-in freezer until the harvests start coming in, and then they all get filled up again, so that generally by the end of November I've got 3 packed freezers again. Anyway, so in February the first of my freezers was empty, so I thought, you know, I'm having all this shenanigans with the washing machine coming in, I'll get rid of that freezer now. And I did. Bit of a palaver. I put it on like a free cycle thing, but it went. So the other one that I took out of there, the big grey one, and it's been sitting in the living room since the end of March, April, May, June, July, we're 4.5 months. But finally, about maybe the 3rd week of July, it was empty. So I defrosted it, cleaned it. Didn't do anything about it at the time because other stuff's been going on. But then finally, a couple of days ago, 3 days ago or so, I think it was, I advertised it in our local community Facebook group. Who wants a freezer for free? All you have to do is get it down the stairs. And yay, so it went on Friday, Saturday, can't remember which day. So the reason I'm mentioning that is, well, great, it's gone, it's at my way. Suddenly, oh, the living room feels bigger again. But it sort of prompted me to think about something that's been going on in my mind for the last few weeks anyway, that I thought I'd relate to you today, just to sort of, because I'm sure there are questions. The whole house move thing. So, as you know, coming into this year, the plan was do all the repairs to the flat. There are still quite a few, like bathroom and hallway need doing. I'm not just talking about decorating, there are some actual repairs to do. Hopefully get them all done by, say, the end of July. Get my flat on the market in the autumn. That was the plan. And, you know, even with my sister's diagnosis in the new year, well, actually, not only did it stay the plan, I actually wanted to speed up the plan because, you know, in January and February, there was the thought, you know, can I do this really, really quickly? Can I get sold? Can I get moved? And can I go and move in right close to her? Partly so that I can be near her, but also just from a practical point of view, if I need to sort of step in. And, you know, at the time we were thinking, you know, she might have 2 or 3 years. They might not necessarily be fabulous in terms of, or like not normal, but, you know, if I move up there, then, you know, I can step in and do some nursing if she's at home and needs care at home. Certainly in terms of being extra help for my brother-in-law, and then maybe some things that my sister wouldn't want him to do, you know, bathing, that sort of thing. So it's like, come on, get this flat sorted, get it on the market. And I was kind of doing that, and obviously I did the kitchen, got the kitchen done. And I had at that stage as well, I've been sending backwards and forwards, I've been sending house property details to my sister. What do you think? Because she is my kind of sounding board. She's my big sis. She's always been my sounding board and my advisor, my mentor. You know, it's not that I would go to my sister and ask her, what should I do? I don't know what to do. She would never tell me what to do. But of course, she's known me my whole life. She knows what I went through in my childhood. She knows what I've been through as an adult. She knows what I need. So she was always a great sounding board because she knew the right questions to ask me so that I can come to the answers for myself. Lost train of thought suddenly. I feel a bit chesty today. Anyway, so we'd been doing that in the sort of first couple of months of the year, me getting a wriggle on, with trying to get the kitchen done. And then at that stage in the year, January, February and March, we were phoning all the time, emailing, Facebook messengering and all that. But then I went up there and stayed for a little bit. And it was really apparent when I went up and then we had a proper chat that, things were looking pretty grim for her, for all of us collectively. And there was no, the whole question of moving house, it just got completely shelved. Whether it's moving to Yorkshire, which, frankly, brutally, by the time a sort of an exchange and a sale and all that would go through, the chances are she would have already died by then. So never mind going to Yorkshire or anywhere else. The whole house move thing was pretty much shelved because she was now my priority. And obviously the garden as well. So those were the only two things I was doing and thinking about. And also I was still putting out videos, obviously, because I needed the income. But yeah, time-wise, didn't have time for the flat, didn't have time for house hunting, any of that business. Get the garden sorted, and I did make the garden a priority because I needed it. I needed that space for just the quiet and the sanity of it. And my sister was my other priority. So that brings us to today. So in a way, I've I've missed May, June, July, August in terms of doing anything with the flat. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been starting to feel pressure from myself, but pressure to get moving on, sort the bathroom, sort the hallway. I need to get some trades in to do a few things. The garden needs attention. I need to get on with some sewing. I need to make some money. I need to still keep putting my videos out. When am I gonna? I can't do it all. But also, more than anything, I'm not in the headspace. I'm just not in the right headspace. If I get up and get dressed in the morning, anything else is a bit of a miracle at the moment. So I've talked to a couple of friends about this now, and I had a really good chat with our Paul. A long cry. Thanks, Paul, for putting up with me. And I think for the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to take my foot off the gas a bit in terms of the house move. I'm still going to do it. I have to do it. I can't do these stairs anymore. But also, no one's going to give me knee replacement surgery while I'm living up in this flat. They're just not going to do it. Because I can't be sent, because I live on my own. I can't come home on my own with 60 stairs. Because for weeks, I'm not going to be able to do them. Anyway, so it is going to happen. It has to happen. But for any of the doubters and the naysayers, well, anyone who's got that kind of neggy attitude towards me, just zip it and bugger off. Don't need you. But for the rest of you who are gorgeous, I think the plan, loosely speaking, is I am going to start getting on with these jobs that need doing. I need to chase up the lease still. I emailed Land Registry on the 14th of April, I think it was, and they said 10 weeks. And I think it's about 14 or 15 weeks now, so I need to chase that up. But yeah, I am going to carry on doing these jobs on the flat, but I'm not going to do them at the expense of... I can't put a video out that week because I'm busy doing something for the flat, because if I don't put a video out, that's no income, Just need to keep that everything in balance. And then I need to start doing some sewing as well. I think what I'm trying to say is, I think realistically, the way I'm looking at it is, yes, continue to try to get the flat ready. And let's say by some miracle a perfect property appears in September and I've been carrying on, or November, and I've been carrying on getting the flat ready, and I could in theory put it on the market in November if I see a perfect property. Great, go for it. But actually, the house hunting has been stressing me out so much. That combined with trying to get my flat ready. And of course, everything at the moment is underwritten by this, I'm not going to put any descriptive words on it, this grief. Hang on, okay, so this is what I mean. Oh, dopey girl. It's like every few thoughts in my head throughout the day, whatever I'm doing, every few thoughts, and then I end up in buckets again. I'm going to have to stop for a second. Hang on. Okay. Look, I make no apologies for having my emotions. The emotion police are coming to get me. I make no apologies for having emotions. I just apologise for... I don't want to dump them through the lens on any of you. Yes, so that's the point, is there's too much going on, and it's like I was saying to my friend the other day, it's that thing of, you know, I'm doing it all on my own. I mean, both the flat and the practical stuff, but also getting myself through this really tough time. I don't have a partner to give me a cuddle when it gets too much, you know. I don't have a partner to just talk to when it gets too much. That's not my choosing. I would have preferred to go through life with a partner, but unfortunately I'm a really bad picker. Never mind. So yeah, it's and I don't mean any of this as a pity party. I don't need anyone's pity. You know I have your sympathy. That's lovely, but it's not about having a pity party. It's that it's about trying to find some practical ways through a difficult time. And I think I need some time to deal with... God, here I go again. I need some time to deal with the enormity of not having my sister anymore, because she's it. She's my family. She's everything, you know. She's my next of kin. Who do I rate next of kin on when I go to have my knees done? She's it. She's my whole family. So it's huge. It's huge. Anyway, so yeah, it wouldn't be a Vivi video, would it, if I got straight to the point? And you know, getting straight to the point, that's fine if you're asking directions to, you know, the co-op down the street. But when it's a chat, it's a conversation, isn't it? Things, anyway. So yeah, the freezer has gone, which is great. And like I said, it's another step in the right direction. And really, in terms of getting rid of stuff, in terms of clearing clutter, as I've said before, I live in a small flat. I live in I think it's about 450, 500 square feet, my flat. There's not a lot of place to have stuff. So I've never really had junk, everything. Put it this way, I think everything in my home at the moment now is either stuff that I use all the time or that I'm going to use, like fabric. I've been winnowing down my books. I've actually got gaps on my bookshelf for the first time since I was probably about 8. So all of those things are done, but in a way, clutter busting and getting rid of freezers, it's all a bit of a distraction, isn't it? Because that's not actually the stuff that really needs to happen. The stuff that really needs to happen are the repairs, the lease, getting the property valued, and the big thing, house hunting. That's what is going to make the difference to me moving. I have to find somewhere to move to. At the moment, I still love my hood here, but I am coming more and more and more around to the idea of going to Dorset. And please don't suggest all your different neighbourhoods and all your different areas, because I can't cope. I cannot possibly house hunt across the entire country. I can't physically do it. But I know some of you are going to say, oh, but where I live, it's lovely. Dorset for me is already home. It's a home from home. So anyway, there we go. Right, now let's get chirpy now. So I still do have a bit of sorry, my nose has gone all itchy now. It's because I had that little cry. Train of thought again. So yeah, I've had some posts. I've had a few more lovely cards from folk. Thank you. Now I've actually, like I explained, I've put them all away in my sister's funeral service programme. They're treasures, they'll be kept. And I hadn't pointed out any of them individually because they're all lovely, all in different ways. But I did want to point this one out from Marilyn because I think it's a really cute idea that I think I'll certainly use in future, and some of you may like to replicate too. So it's a plain white card. You can get these. Oh, I won't show you. Right, it's personal. You can get these sort of plain white cards that come with an envelope, or get your own card, fold it or whatever. So it's like a sort of a card ready to craft yourself. And what I love, I have to bring it really close, let the camera focus. I don't know if you can tell, light's a bit tricky. It's fabric. It's little bits of fabric. So it's obviously like the part of the pattern that's been sort of cut out, the flower bit of the pattern cut out and put on the card. And I just think what a lovely idea for if you've got really small scraps of material. And now I know a lot of you quilt, so even the smallest of scraps is never considered rubbish, is it? Because you'll quilt it into something. But I was thinking that, if you're more doing sort of dressmaking or upholstering or whatever it is, if you've got a fabric with a pattern on it that's small enough for a card and you've got those scraps, what a cute little idea for a card. Cut around the pattern, stick it on, voila, a lovely little homemade card. So thank you to Marilyn for that. And like I said, so many lovely cards from people. And I didn't want to single any of them out in particular because I don't want to offend someone if they think, why has she not talked about my card? They were all lovely. And I'm just showing that because I think it's a really cute idea for all of you crafters and all of you who work with fabric and might have fabric left over. Oh, now, oh my goodness, this is so lovely. I want to talk about chocolate and the making of chocolate and finding out a bit more about it because I didn't know. I'm a chocolate addict and I didn't really know how it was made. But now I've got a better idea because, and this is a great card too. Let me, yeah, look at that. Isn't that a great card? Now, if you're a seaside lover like I am, what a great card. Jane, thank you so much. So Jane lives down in Devon. She'd ordered something from my shop and it was a bit of an odd shape, so I had to use a lot of bubble wrap to pack it. Often I pack things with paper, but when I do use bubble wrap, I use the green bubble wrap, as in the bubble wrap that's been made from pre-used plastic. Anyway, Jane, bless your cotton socks, Jane made up a parcel of bubble wrap to send back so I can use it again. Yay! The lightest parcel ever. But naughty, she did include some chocolate. Thank you so much, lovely. And I just wanted to mention it. So it comes from somewhere called Darts Farm. I'm guessing, I went online, I looked at them, and I've immediately forgotten the information. I'm guessing it's on the River Dart in Devon. Look at that, and the Taste of the West Awards, they won gold in 2022. Look, they've got their gold sticker. So lovely packaging. Cow and cacao. So gorgeous wee box of chocks. All the chocks have gone. And then inside, I loved this. God, the light's gone really dim. You can't see it because the camera's grabbing like where it can. Can I even read it in this gloaming? It says that of Darts Farm. That's the company. I've got to say the chocolate was gorgeous, really, really beautiful, high quality chocolate, really, really good chocolate. I'm sure, and you're naughty, Jane, I'm sure it costs a small fortune. But if you want to get a really special treat for someone, maybe if you're going to do like a little hamper at Christmas for them or something, I'd say check these people out because it's beautiful stuff. And if you're in the UK, because especially if you're down in the West Country, not too many food miles. But what I love is the little insert, and it says, sorry, you have to excuse the top of my head because I'm trying to find the light. It says, we are proud to be one of the few UK producers to craft our chocolate from bean to bar. So they're responsibly sourced, but they get the whole bean delivered to their chocolate factory, rather than the cacao nibs, I guess it is. And this is the interesting bit, and these were the bits I didn't know. God, the light is terrible. Once the sacks of beans, cocoa beans, lands at Darts Farm, our lengthy 6-stage process begins. So in small batches, their chocolatier Louise roasts the beans, then cracks the shell to release the nib. Then they're winnowed to separate the shell from the nibs. And then the nib is ground in their granite mixer for up to 55 hours. 55 hours of grinding in the granite bowl. And the bowl is called the conch. C-O-N-C-H-E. Now, I'd heard of the process of conching before. Conching, chocolate gets conched. I had no idea what it meant, but the conching is when the nibs are ground in the conching bowl, in the conch bowl. And so it gets ground for 55 hours, and then it gets made into little 5 kilo, actually little 5 kilos isn't little 5 kilos, gets put into 5 kilo bricks to age for 2 to 3 weeks before they then finally melt it down to make into their chocolate products. It's fascinating actually, isn't it? I hadn't thought about that whole process. The beans need to be roasted so that the shells can be cracked to release the little cacao nib. Then you've got to separate the nibs from the shells. And then that nib's got to be ground. 55 hours of grounding. I can't get my head around that. And that's before they even start to melt it to make the stuff we scoff. Fascinating. I found that fascinating, and I love the fact that that's a company in the UK who are doing the entire process. Yeah, I love that. Proper old school, that, isn't it? I was going a bit West Country then, isn't it? Proper old school, that, isn't it? Anyway, so thank you so much, gorgeous. I loved it. There was another bit of, there was a bag, and it was sort of like slab chocolate, but sort of broken. Like we used to get toffee, where it's in a slab, and like I used to when I was a girl, sell in the shop, and you smash it with the toffee hammer, and it was, I can't remember the name of it, but it mentioned Earl Grey, and I thought, ooh, because I'm not a fan of Earl Grey as tea, but actually it was lovely, the bergamot and the orange in the chocolate. Oh, so yeah, Darts Farm chocolates. Have I said it right? Yeah, Darts Farm. Have a look. And then, oh my goodness. Oh, actually, just hang on a sec. I just went to refill my water bottle, and I've spilt half of it on the floor. So I've just got a tea towel down there for a moment. Okay, so yes, oh gosh, I've been nattering for ages. Let's start to wrap things up now. 2 more bits of post, including my sister. So from this point in the video, I'm sure I'm going to get really emotional, and I'm not going to start the video, because it's annoying. I'm going to plow on, but just to say, if you're a bit low and fragile at the moment, maybe stop the video now. Cheerio, see you again, probably in the garden. But on the other hand, I hope some of this will also, I hope it's going to be joyous and uplifting. It'll be joyous and uplifting despite my tears. So yeah, let's plow on. Now, so at the beginning of August, I turned over my calendar, and it's a calendar my sister gave me for Christmas. It's all her photos. And of course, the minute I turned it over and saw a new picture, I sobbed. Let's get it down, actually. It's propped up by my Ladybird books. I cried my eyes out again, because I thought, I'm not going to see any more photographs from my sister, and she's a great photographer. I love this one. This is perfect English summer. It's kind of hard to make out, so I'm going to explain it a bit. Now, I don't know whether it's Robin Hood's Bay or is it Saltburn? One of you will tell me, I'm sure, because can you see the buildings up here? They're up on the top of the cliff, and it's like and Saltburn and Robin Hood's Bay are both like that, where it's like the town's up here and like boom, down. But what I love about this, and this is British summer perfectly, because look, you can see how strong the shadows are, you can see how strong the sunshine is. But look at this sea fret that's come in. This spooky sea fret. 1 minute it's a bright summer's day, and the next everything is shrouded in fret. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I just wish I knew. Actually, it's funny because when I got it at Christmas, of course I rang her to say, thanks sis, love it. And there were a couple of them, and I said, oh, is that up at Malham Cove, a certain picture? And she's like, yeah, well spotted, because it's not a picture of the cove. And is this, and is this that? And she said, oh, I should have labelled them, shouldn't I? Like put a little on the printed page with the dates are where it is. And I said, no, it doesn't matter, it's just, I can ask you. If I don't know where it is, I'll just ring you and ask you. Anyway, so I turned the calendar page over, got a little bit emotion. Then, this weekend, the postie turned up. Is that wet patch out of my way now? Hang on a sec. Sorry, girl. The postie turned up. Lovely little box, and separately a card. Open the box. And it's from Sarah and Ian. Thank you so much, beautiful. So there are all sorts of bits and bobs inside and a card. So I pulled the card out in an envelope, took it out of the envelope. It's a beautiful card. And the title simply says Harbour and Sea Fret. So you see that C fret coming in again. And as soon as I read the back of it, and like I said, look, I've been proper emotional for weeks and weeks and weeks on end now anyway, but it's off the charts. Anyway, as soon as I saw the word C fret, it immediately made me think of my sister and this and that. Oh, I was crying again. But I loved it, Sarah and Ian, I loved it. And it was a lovely box it was a cuddle in a box. There were some little bath time treats and a scent, which I put on, which I love because it's got patchouli as the base and some chocolate and just really, really lovely. And a couple of things I'm going to show here as well. This is a lovely bath bomb I haven't used yet, and it's called French Affair, and it's made with, what does it say? It's made with French pink clay. And Sarah made a note to say, in honour of you and your sister's trip to France. The whole package was a little package to, she sent the card. It was a bit of a cuddle and, thoughts. A tough time. So that's lovely. Haven't used it yet. Can't wait to. And a book, which I'll show you in a sec. And, the thing was, as I was taking everything out of the box, as I was looking at everything, all such lovely things, a little bar of soap and wrapped in paper, and it contains seaweed, and the paper wrapping's got images of shells and seaweed on it, and this book, and the entire package, Sarah, everyone, it was exactly the kind of package my sister would send to me. If I was having a bit of a rotten time about something, it's exactly the kind of package she would have put together for me. Because she was always doing that, when things, there was a period that was really, really tough when I was trying to balance, Auntie Teapot and working full time. And these just random little parcels would turn up from her saying, I'm sorry I can't be there to help. I hope this helps. And it would be just some, chocolate and some tea bags and some bubble bath or whatever. And it was always brilliant. So Sarah's parcel reminded me so much of the sort of parcel my sister would send to me. But also, literally everything in it is something that I would pick for my sister. So it was really lovely. And then, and this was wrapped in paper, so I didn't see it until I unwrapped it. There was a book. And I thought, yay, I love books. And I unwrapped it, and the book is called Salt on My Skin. And it's about cold water, wild swimming. And in the week leading up to this parcel arriving and my sister's letter, all week I've been really, really struggling with everything, life, everything. And I was thinking, I was getting really down, if I'm honest, and I was just getting to that stage of thinking, Stuff it, I'm just going to walk out of here, keep walking, well, not keep walking, walk out of here, get myself on a train, get myself down to Dorset, go and have a few days at the seaside, although it's the wrong time of year because it'll be full of tourists, but I just thought I just need a few days, sorry, excuse me, I need a few days on a beach somewhere. I need a few days of being in water. I need to get in the sea somewhere. And I was thinking about Northumberland because I adored, when I spent that time in Alnwick, I adore that Northumbrian coast. It's too bloody cold to swim in there without a wetsuit. Anyway, so it was so weird. I was having this really bad week. My back was, everything was just bad. It was all bad. Oh, what's that, my fan? Properly starting to feel sorry for myself and thinking, sod it, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to shut everything down, shut the door, I'm going to walk away. Go and sit on a rock somewhere. So to open this parcel and see a book that says Salt on My Skin, I'd been having thoughts of Dorset and just getting down there. It was just perfect. It was perfect timing. I'll tell you briefly about the book because I won't go into too much because I will sob. This is a lass who has had, you know, she's had her own tough times, single mum. She moves to Orkney. I guess when she moves to Orkney, she was living in Cambridge. So for those who don't know, Orkney is one of our quite remote islands. It's off the north coast of Scotland. It's not as remote as Shetland, further out, but it's, you know, it's as part of the UK, it's one of the most remote places you can get to. She must have gone there when she was about 38, 39. So she leaves Cambridge, she goes to Orkney, starts a new life for herself. 10 years on, and she's 49, she's going to be 50. She makes a bucket list of 49 things she wants to do in that year before she turns 50. And one of them, because she keeps reading about it, seeing about it, is it's all about wild swimming or cold water swimming, however you want to put it. To me, swimming, there's only two ways to swim. You either swim in a chlorinated pool indoors, but to me, if I talk about swimming, I mean swimming in the sea or in a river or a lake. Lakes are too cold. But for me, when I talk about swimming, I mean swimming in salt water, swimming in the briny stuff. So that's what she's kind of been thinking about it for ages. And then at the end, so this book is written in 2019. There's a blog and Instagram. I'll tell you about that too in a second, because I'm pretty sure, I know a load of you want to look it up. So the book starts in January 2019 and goes into January of 2020. But at the end of 2018, here we go again. Her best friend on the island, her best friend dies, and she's bereft. But also her mum, her parents have ended up moving to Orkney too. They're not Orcadians, but they all end up living there. Her mum, who must be around about 80, late 70s, I think she says her dad is 80. I think she mentions him being 81 or 82. It's about 80. Her mum gets diagnosed with dementia. So she has this grief about her friend, this grief about knowing she's going to start losing her mum. Not because her mum's going to die yet, but she's going to start losing her mum. And she just says, you know, one day she says, sod it, I'm going to do that swim. I mean, what a time to start doing outdoor swimming. January. She's got a wetsuit. She starts in a wetsuit. And she meets up with a group of women. She's kind of petrified. Anyway, she does it. She goes for her first wild, cold water, open, whatever, swim. And she loves it. And she quickly becomes, as she says herself, she becomes an addict. This simple act of getting into water, yeah, it's cold. This simple act of getting into water, being in the water. Now, she swims. When I get in water, I tend not to swim. I don't bother swimming. I just get in. I bob, I float, I tread water. I like kind of diving down. I don't mean diving off something into water, but when I'm in the water, I like to kind of nosedive down and see what I can find down there. But yeah, she quickly becomes addicted. Starts an Instagram. What I will do is in the description underneath my video here, I'll put the details of her social media stuff, because she starts blogging about it. She Instagrams her pictures, and it was from the back of that all of her viewers or whatever, all the people that was connecting on social media were saying, write a book, you need to write a book about this. So this charts that first year of her becoming a wild swimmer. It goes by the month. And of course, it charts how things are going with her mum. the start, at the very start of the book, when she's talking about her friend Fiona, I mean, I found it almost unbearable to read to begin with. I don't know what this book. Okay, so I should say that straight away as a reviewer of this book. I'm obviously reading it in a highly emotional state. I'm a mess. So two things: one, I'm recently bereaved, and two, I love wild swimming. So, of course, I'm going to love it. I mean, Sarah, thank you. What a perfect book to choose for me. Thing is, all the time I was reading, I was thinking, oh, when I finish it, I'll send it to Sis. Oh yeah, I don't have a Sis anymore. I mean, I do in here, but yeah. So I think it's a really quick read. It's only little. I read it in one sitting. Sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, and as one of the reviewers on the back said, sometimes both on the same page. It's lovely, and I think more than anything, as I was reading it, as I was saying, I've been thinking so much about Dorset, and then my sister's picture for this month with the sea fret, and I just think it's like our planets aligning, are the stars aligning, is something happening here that's maybe beyond my control, but is a massive message. Although I'm trying to plan my life, I'm also trying to intuit it too. I'm trying to feel what's right rather than trying to just think about what's right. I'm very much a thinker. I am very cerebral. I'm a planner. I'm thoughtful. I'm a reflector, but I am also that kind of heart and guts kind of person. And I think maybe in the last few years I've got too much in here, and maybe I need to get back into my intuition and my guts, and maybe the sirens are calling me to the beach. Anyway, Sarah, thank you so much. Sorry, I should say as well, it is, have I just confused? No, it is Sarah who sent it to me. Sorry, I thought I got confused then because the author is Sarah. Sarah Kennedy, I don't know how you pronounce it, surname, Norkey. So she, having moved to Orkney, she ends up getting married for the second time. The first husband left her, which is why she's a bit of a mess in Cambridge. But she's married to an Orcadian fisherman. Yay! Lovely. Really inspiring me to get back in the water. And in fact, after I finished reading it, I grabbed this book, which you'll have seen behind me on the shelf numerous times. Lovely book by Kate Rue. When this book came out, I think it was about 1997, I was really angry with her because she gives details of how to get to one of my favourite secret wild swimming places. I'll never forgive you, Kate Rue. But it's a lovely book because, it's just full of these lush pictures of swimming. Look at that, there, under the water. My camera won't be able to focus. Let me see if I can find you a lovely picture. I'm going to find the picture of my secret swimming place because it's not a secret anymore. Actually, I don't think I can manage to get down the cliff anymore because it's a very, very steep climb down. I know it's in here somewhere, hang on. But isn't that, I love that picture. Doesn't that sum up sea swimming? Just the glee on the face, bobbing around in the water. I know it's right at the beginning somewhere. Where have you gone? Oh, I can't find it. Maybe that's the book is telling me, don't give it away, Vivi. Don't tell them where you go. Sorry, I'm gonna just indulge me 2 more seconds. If I can't find it in the next couple of flicks, we'll give up. I want to find it. Did I imagine it? God, am I going to lally? Going to do that. Anyway, so yeah, it's a book I often pull off the shelf just because I want to look at pictures of people bobbing in the sea. So yeah, lovely. I'll put the So she's got an Instagram page where she posts pictures of her and her gang. Sometimes she swims alone. Obviously, while swimming on your own, be really, really careful. Never swim out of your depth. That's her rule as well. It's my rule. So if I'm swimming and I'm on my own, like I said, I don't really swim, I bob. I always want to be able to touch the floor. Know exactly where you are in terms of, you need to know the tides, the rips, all of those kind of things. Generally better for while swimming, go in a group. So now on to this last little thing to share. Back in March or so, I'm going to have a preemptive blow of the nose. Hang on. That's better. Back in March, during one of my chats with my physio, it must have been, it was in March, because, as things progressed, it was harder for her to keep up a conversation. She got tired, So we're having one of our chats, and way before then, way back in January, we'd had a couple of phone calls where, like, literally straight out of the consultant's office, we chatted. The pair of us cried our eyes out on the phone with each other. It's like, I can't believe this has come back. Da, da, da. So we had a massive sob then, and then we both, wipe our tears, get on with things. And then there was another call a couple of weeks later where we both really sobbed as well, and we talked really openly about fear. About fear, like in terms of treatment, fear of, dying, fear of not getting things sorted, all of that. So we just had a really, really very open, just a very open way of talking. But then after that conversation, we then had another conversation, and I said to her, look, I'm going to let you take the lead on this. If you want us to, I don't know how to explain it, but it's that thing of, so this is me to my sister, like, if you want to talk about fear, if you want to talk about being frightened of what's going on, I will be here for that. However, if you don't want to talk about that and you want to talk about really positive stuff, I'm also here for that too. Whatever you want to do, that's how we'll deal with things. So after those initial couple of calls when there was a lot of crying, both of us, she's like, no, gonna be really positive. Right, tell me all about your vegan diet, give me your favourite dishes, it was really positive. So again, during one of our, many conversations, like I think during that conversation in March, I was probably part of it talking about the kitchen. I was about to do the kitchen up. Have I looked at any properties in Sydenham yet, or am I still looking at properties all over, Dorset still? That, chat. And then she, just out of nowhere, said, "Oh, by the way, I've got my last wishes and some thoughts and stuff organised. It's all on my phone. So when the time comes, you can access it all on my phone." And in that moment, there was no histrionics, nothing from either of us. And I said, okay, fine, you know what you want to do. Glad, because now we've said that, we can move on, we can forget that conversation and just get on with making the most of every day. And I said, oh, I'm going to need your PIN number to access your phone. So she gave me the number. Daft moo, it was her birthday. I was like, sis, that is not a secure PIN number, it's your birthday, you idiot. Anyway, she's like, well, you won't forget it, will you? And I was like, no. Anyway, so I knew back in March that she'd done all that, and then after her death, my brother-in-law was able to access her phone, and there was her funeral plan. She'd organised everything, the hymn, the poem that she wanted me to read, which, by the way, I could have killed her all over again for, because it was really emotional. The music, everything. She'd organised everything, and it was beautiful. She organises a good funeral, my sister. Although it did floor me, and I could have killed her all over again. It floored me when the hearse turned up and the pallbearers, got her out of the back, beautiful wicker basket, casket, whatever you call it, and it was all draped around with my bunting. It's beautiful, you know, a summer funeral. Of course you're going to put bunting on your casket, aren't you? Anyway, so obviously that was all done pretty quickly, because we knew that her funeral wishes were in her phone. And my brother-in-law has, I mean, you know, he's in a world of grief, bless him, and he's been trying to sort a little bit of stuff and do a bit of this, and some of it is that admin that you have to do, and it's really boring and it's horrible, and you think, I wish I didn't have to do this. I'd rather just sit alone with a photograph album and cry, whatever it is, or go for a walk and remember her, and whatever. But he's finally he's sent me a card, and in it is my sister's letter to me, and I just wanted to mention a couple of things from it because I love it, because I know this video is going to be a really long one. I've just looked at the clock. It starts off, it says, "Sis, my skinny blister." She always called me Skinny Blister, Cockney rhyming slang. Well, Cockney rhyming slang is skin, as in and, blister. Skin and blister is Cockney rhyming slang for sister. She must have got it from my granddad. She must have picked it up from him, because she's called, for as long as I can remember, that's what my sister has called me. But maybe she misheard it as skinny rather than skin and. Maybe it's because I was whip thin. But she always would shout, "Oi, skinny blister." She didn't have a Cockney accent. I don't know why I did Cockney accent. But yeah, so she always called me Skinny Blister. So her little note to me starts, "Sis, skinny blister, my skinny blister." And God, it's like a knife in the heart to think that I'll never be called Skinny Blister again. I'm no one's Skinny Blister anymore. I'll always be her Skinny Blister. But what I really loved is there were a couple of lines. I'm not going to share the whole letter with you. It's personal and private. But she wrote a really simple line. It's a 3-word sentence. "Write your book." She says, your eloquent way with words is beautiful, just like your soul. Write your book. And it's like just going back to the salt on my skin, where her people were saying, write a book. And there's my sister saying, write your book. It's so lovely. And there's another line about, find your forever home with its little garden and grow, you know. Anyway, so, yeah. Thanks, sis. Thanks for making me cry again. Flipping heck. I mean, I don't know how my body's producing so much salty water at the moment, but it is. There's a lovely bit in the book when she talks about these, you know, her salty tears mingling with the salt of the sea, and it just makes her better. Lovely, really hopeful. And I have that too for myself. So right back to the beginning of this video, and actually, you know what, it's ended up being a long one. I make no apologies. I know a few of you will have sat through the whole thing, thank you, and you'll just enjoy chatting. But it's that thing of embracing change, looking forward, saying, you know what, out of all this, I'm going to start a new adventure. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to let those salty tears mingle with the salty sea. I'm going to let myself be healed, and I'm going to find my little forever home and plant my garden, like my sister says. Whether I ever write the book or not is a whole different matter. Maybe when I've retired I'll have the time. But yeah, I think what it ultimately boils down to, you could say it all in a nutshell, is live your life. Live it. Grasp it and live it. So that's what I'm going to do. With a slight slight change of plan in terms of moving, with this slight delay. I'm going to live my life, but I'm going to delay it 6 months. No, I'm not delaying my life 6 months, just the whole house move. I'm going to focus on, you know, my health, licking me wounds a bit, getting back to full spirit, full batteries and all that. And I think, you know what, I think that'll do. That'll be me getting on with it. And who knows what next year will bring. Hopefully the perfect property. Anyway, all right, lovelies. Gosh, that really was a long one. Thank you for hanging out with me for so long. I really appreciate it. And yeah, tears are there. Tears are just kind of, they're just love metamorphosized into something else, aren't they? It's love leaks down my cheeks. All right, gorgeosities. So I think, I don't know, garden next time. Who knows? I had another book to talk about. I've got other books. I've got loads to talk about. We'll talk about it another day though, because yeah, that's enough for today, isn't it? All right, listen, lots and lots of love to any of you who are nursing a little bit of a bruised soul at the moment. This too shall pass. Until the next one, cheerio.